Hi, and welcome to the second episode of the Fandom Report. I'm really excited about today's episode, guys. There's some amazing things coming up, and for this week's spotlight, just to start off this Fandom Report, there's one of my all-time favorite writers, Tanagariel. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but yeah, that's how I pronounce it anyways. I asked her if she wanted to be in this second episode, and she agreed, which I was, for one, very happy about, and I really appreciate that you allowed me to feature you. And as, of course, since last week's episode, I asked her if I asked her a question, and I also asked if I could perhaps get a small excerpt or snippet for you guys so you could look forward to tomorrow's chapter, which I am very positive that I will be, well, I'm very certain that it will be just as an amazing chapter as the previous one, so there's that. I asked her what inspired her to begin writing, what keeps inspiring her to keep pushing herself as a writer and write new things. So I have the answer over here. It's not as long as the last week's, but I'm still going to read some of it up. Tanagariel, she has always been a fan of writing. No, sorry, reading, reading. No, she's always been a fan of reading. But when she really immersed herself into the world of fan fiction, she wanted to be able to tell the exact kind of story she wanted to tell. No, the exact story she wanted to read. Sorry. So she began writing a couple of years ago with a caffeine fic, from Orphan Black. Oh, I can't remember their names. That's so bad of me. Sorry. Delphine Cormier and Cosmia Niehaus. I'm not sure about that last one. Sorry. Anyways, and that's where it took off for Tanagariel in this week's Spotlight Writer. She wanted to put amazing characters from their world into our world and see how they would react and behave in it. That has always been a certain aspect that have been interesting for her as a writer to see how characters would be in our modern society. Sorry, and test them in certain situations and stretch their boundaries and see how far you can actually push those kind of characters, and all while still making it enjoyable and fun to read. Which I assure you, you have succeeded doing that. I think, at least. She's currently busy writing her story or sequel. Remember when we used to be between the sheets there, and I am absolutely amazed by your story, to be honest. Your prequel and this one, it's one of, well, if not the best fan fiction I have ever read. So I am simply blown away that I was actually able to feature you, and that makes me happy, and I appreciate it. For you guys who might be watching this, who is looking forward to her new chapter tomorrow, which I assure you I am as well, I also asked if I could get like a small teaser or excerpt or snippet, if you may, um, So without further ado, I'm gonna read it up for you guys. I really hope you look forward to this one. Clark has never stopped thinking about you, you know? Even when we had our dalliance years ago, it was you who she thought about. Luna snorted. Yeah, how disappointing that was. I was right there, that she was never going to give me her heart. She wanted you instead. She doesn't, Lexa hesitated. Things have changed between us. I can see that. You're here and Clark is far away. She might really move on. Clark has suffered enough, and it's best if she finds someone who cares for her. Basically, you're giving her your blessing to whoever wants to win Clark's heart. Lexa drank her coffee, leaving the empty cup over the white table. I just want her to be happy. If it means seeing Clark with another boy or girl, then yes. The angst so far in your story has really been amazing. Like, it really draws in your readers, and I think you're doing such an amazing job, and that is actually why I also wanted to feature you on in this fandom report, because I think that with your success and your ability to transform your stories inside your head into the paper, which allows us, the readers, to join you on such an amazing journey, it's simply unbelievable how good it is. I remember I saw an Anon on your Tumblr from some time ago, who actually said that if you could, or wanted to, you could have been a writer, a professional author, if you may. And I agree. You are really talented, and I can only aspire to be as good as you sometime in the future, I hope. So I hope you guys are looking forward to the new chapter tomorrow. I certainly am. The angst seems to be really amazing in this next one, and it's gonna hurt, but I'm going to be happy about it, I think. No, thank you so much for allowing me to feature you on this week's episode of the Fandom Report, Tanagariel. It's simply amazing. I hope more people will read your stories if they feel like what I have just read up might seem interesting. I would certainly recommend them. I think I'm going to throw the links to your and her archive of her own profile, so you can go check out her stories. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. They are that good. If I had to recommend one writer and one fanfic, like, I feel like even though it's prequel, it's still one fanfic because it's the same universe. Like, yeah, I guess. But this is definitely the story that I will recommend to anyone who wanted to read what is fan fiction. This is what I would recommend. So now that we have covered this week spotlight, I'm going to move on to the movies I want to recommend or talk about for you guys. I've been researching quite a bit on what upcoming movies there are coming, and perhaps even next year or the year after that. And I just found out in my research about the Justice League movie, and I'm really looking forward to that as a DC fan. Now, even though I'm really excited about seeing it, I'm still kind of, I guess, disappointed would be the word I would choose, because the Flash is of course going to make an appearance, but it's not going to be played by Grant Gustin, the man who plays Barry Allen on the CW's The Flash, and that kind of bums me out because, as I stated in my previous episode, it's like having Barry Allen. It's like having Steve Rogers played by Chris Evans, then proceed to make a show about Captain America, and then feature another guy or another actor who plays Steve Rogers, and it kind of ruins it for me. It kind of ruins the character for me because I know who I'm familiar with Grant Gustin's Flash, and now I have to take a whole new actor playing a superhero I actually like. Well, it kind of bums me out. Now I'm not sure. I once saw a panel with Stephen Amell and Katie Lotz. I think they stated that in their opinion he's the Green Arrow and she's the Black Canary. So if they are wanting to feature either the Black Canary or the Green Arrow, I sincerely hope that it would be played by either Stephen Amell or Katie Lotz. For me, when you already have established a character with a certain actor, you shouldn't be replacing them, in my humble opinion. But that's just what I think. So next year's movies, well, 2016 and 2017 seems to be some actually pretty amazing movie years, especially for us nerds, if we are wanting to put it that way. Certainly more superheroes, sci-fi, and action movies are making it in, but they are more, well, big on lore, I guess. We're also getting a new Transformers. I'm also looking very forward to that. And then there's Thor and Doctor Strange, I think, is also coming out with Benedict Cumberbatch. Also seems to be a great movie. Just some really amazing movies seems to be coming out. And I, as a superhero fan, I am not complaining at all. It seems to be some amazing years we are entering, and also in 2018 when we get the Avengers, the Infinity Wars, I think, with what is called Thanos, I think, that purple dude in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, we're also getting a new Guardians of the Galaxy in 2018, I think. Was that 2017? I'm not sure. Anyways, I'm also looking forward to that movie. So, yeah, certainly a lot of superhero movies. I promise next week's episode, I won't be talking so much about superheroes, but they're really my obsession at this moment. Now, when I actually started getting this idea for the Fandom Report, I wanted to feature one of my previous favorite shows, The 100. Yeah, I was suspecting, as I stated in my previous videos, that I suspected Lexa might die, and I didn't hope it because she was really my favorite character. But there was a hunch in me, but I still dreaded it, and the bigger part of me believed that she wouldn't. But she, of course, did. So, yet another favorite character of mine dies. And she's a lesbian. Now, I have talked about this subject earlier, so if you want to see me talking a bit about more how I feel about Lex's death, go check out the first the first Sam chat, I think. There I talk a lot about her. But I still think it should be mentioned because, well, it was good. Certainly up to season 2, or no, up to season 3. And like, I would recommend if you are wondering whether or not you want to watch The 100 because of what you might seen of Clexa and whatnot, go watch until season 3. Like, I guess you could watch 3 or 7, I think, but like right after the love scene, shut it off. Shut the freaking video or episode off. It's not worth it, really. Like I'm not going to use my entire time talking about the 100 Hero on this series. No, I wanted to talk about another long-time favorite series of mine, Supernatural, which might come as a surprise. Well, I'm kind of everything I can get my hands on, really. Now, Supernatural, I suspect most of you already know, but for those of you who haven't watched it yet and you need something to binge watch, well, you have so far almost 11 seasons to watch of Supernatural if you haven't watched a single episode yet. Now, I'm not going to cover the entire story, I'm going to cover the essence of it. The story behind Supernatural is Dean and Sam Winchester. They're brothers, of course, and we see them growing through difficult times. But most importantly, in season 1, it's about their occupation as hunters. Now, a hunter in supernatural lore, or in the supernatural franchise, is a person who hunts supernatural creatures, whether it be Wendigos, poltergeist, wraiths, ghosts, vampires, werewolves, shapeshifters. Like, if there is a myth about it, it could probably end up in Supernatural. That's how they work. And now they hunt these things or creatures to protect humankind. But life is not good for those two boys. There's a lot of alcohol intake, so if you're not that big a fan, you might want to. Well, you might want to reconsider watching it. I just thought you wanted to know if that might trigger you. But even though, and it is, the show is problematic. I talked about this a bit earlier, but I will just briefly touch the subject again. Now, they have had some really great characters on the show who have been diverse, so to say. They have one of my all-time favorite characters in any show or movie, whatever. Charlie Bradbury was killed in season 10. I don't remember the episode, but yeah, she was a lesbian, and it really felt like she was just another person, but she died tragically. And I immediately I got pissed, like, and then I started reading some of the reactions to her death, and I kind of agreed that she was just another dead lesbian. So I also read some statements about that the fans of Supernatural actually started booing the writers in the 2015 Comic Con, I guess. The actors were very respectful, but it was also like the Supernatural creative team actually discovered that they had a really great character who just fell into a certain trope. And I'm not sure, don't hold me up to this, and you are more than welcome to correct me in the comments below, but I actually think they went out and apologized for the poor treatment of Charlie. I hope they did. But not only that, and they also had another great character. Now I can't remember his last name, but he was POC, Rufus, and he was awesome. A lot of great and funny scenes with him and Bobby and also the boys. But I understand the critics who say that it is heavily featured. Sorry, I almost dropped my glass of coffee. On straight white males, and there's not a lot of, well, also all the women die, all the love interests are just dead. Um, well, unless you're a Destiel shipper, then of course not. But the four primary characters is white and also, well, and Dean could be discussed to not be straight but bisexual, but I'm not sure about that one yet. Well, it's not canon yet, at least. Unless, well, Nisha said he probably was bisexual, um, but even though it has it has a problem. Its problems. It, it's still entertaining. You just need to know that there's problems and it's a problematic show sometimes. Now I understand why you wouldn't watch it because of the the problems I have just stated with the series, and I understand that because I have also avoided series who have had certain problematics in them. And I kind of don't want to rat them out because, well, I would probably most likely get hate on it, but yeah, of course there are shows who are problematic. For example, I know this isn't attention for a lot of people, but actually Doctor Who as well. Like, every diverse character, well, I guess, but have been killed off as well. Is it Danny Pink? I think it is. Who died in season 8? Yeah, season 8. He was POC, and I guess Captain Jack Harkness like kind of counts because he's dead. But I don't even know how to describe his sexuality. Like, he just really thought that everyone was hot. Not that he had low standards, but everyone was just hot in his mind. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Oh, yeah. Doctor Who can also be problematic, but, well, that's mostly after Stephen Moffat took over the show, I think. But if you need something entertaining to watch, while it may be problematic, I would definitely recommend either Supernatural or Doctor Who if you haven't checked those two major series out yet. About books, well, there's always the classics, and to be honest, I really do have a lot of classic books. I have a lot of Harry Potter, and The Hobbit, and Lord of the Rings, but, well, I should have made some research because last week's recommendation was Artemis Fowl, I think. But I also noticed that a lot of people haven't actually read the Lord of the Ring and the Hobbit books. And while I'm sure some of you have, if you are a fan of the movies, I would really recommend you starting to read those. They might be long and they might be a little hard to get going at first, but just trust me, they're worth it. For example, I think well, if we were being straightly honest, I would recommend both The Hobbit and just Lord of the Rings. But the last one I read was oddly enough, Harry Potter and the Fellowship of the Ring. No, Harry Potter? Lord of the Rings and the Fellowship of the Ring. I should have gotten more coffee. No, sorry. Lord of the Rings and the Fellowship of the Ring. The Fellowship of the Ring. It really brings out a lot to the story that you don't see in the movie. Like, for example, one of the major characters in the entire book series, which you never get to meet in the movies, called Tom. Why do I only have the books in Danish? Some Bombadil. There it is. It's the same name. Well, what do you know? Some Bombadil is actually, I think he's the only entity besides Sauron who can wear the One Ring without even being affected by it. He doesn't go invisible or anything. He's not, well, anything at all. And his character and the entity he is described more in the book. But like that's one of the most important things you discover in the books, and you also get a bit of more Elvish lore, which is always nice in Lord of the Rings wise. You also actually meet Gimli's father. For the love of me, I can't remember his father. His name, Gloin. You meet Gloin as well. He's also in the books. He's actually the graying dwarf sitting next to Gimli in the movie. And Gloin and Frodo are actually having a pretty important conversation as well about Bilbo and the mountain. So yeah, there's a lot of good things in Lord of the Rings and the Fellowship of the Rings. No, the Fellowship of the Ring. Isn't that what his name is? I certainly hope so. The Fellowship of the Ring. Yeah. I can't remember anything today. Right. So if you haven't watched it, that's definitely this week's book recommendation. And the entire series. Well, we're coming to a close, but I just have one last thing, and that is the game review for this week. And I've been thinking a lot about what I should feature, because last week it was World of Warcraft, I think. Yeah. And while I could take in another MMORPG, it stands for Massively Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game, because there are certainly others, or just MMOs. I feel like I should have something, well, just a tad different every time. This is actually, well, it's both a console and a PC game. It's Need for Speed. Yeah, just Need for Speed. It was released with the PlayStation 4, I think. And it really take back the roots to underground street racing. Like, when I sat and played Need for Speed, it felt like being back at playing Need for Speed Underground, or just Need for Speed Underground 2. Some of my personal favorite games. So if you're in need of a game that actually feels like Need for Speed should, I think, well, for me, I would definitely recommend you go out and play that, because you have amazing cars, also not too like overpowered. It's not like well, there are good cars, but it's only really at the end you can get them, which makes sense. The customization tools for the body layout of the car is amazing too, because not only does the car look more cool, it also affects the way the car is handling itself. If you, for example, are having a spoiler or increased air intake, it affects the car's performance. So that's a real nice feature. I've always been a bit bummed that they haven't included that, but it does now. And the way the game, well, the actual gameplay, well, that kind of feels like back to Need for Speed Underground and Underground 2. It's just pure and simple street racing. Nothing enough those fancy new things. Just plain and simple, like underground racing. I think it's great to have that feeling back in Need for Speed. So if you wanna, if you're in need of a new, perhaps car street racing game, that's definitely something worth checking out for you guys. I don't really have anything else planned. I can also see that I have talked for over 30 minutes now. So well, before we close this video off, I'm going to, as always, if you have any suggestions, either to video editing or whatever, or for the next week's fanfiction writer, movies, books, and games, let me know, and I'll definitely check them out. So you also get to see some of the content you actually came here to see, because I can't cover every game, I can't cover every series, movie, and book, even though I would want to, but that's simply impossible for me to do. So if you have any suggestions, let me know, and I'll give them a check, and we'll check them out and see what we can do in the future. Yeah. If you have liked this video, please give this video a like. It really helps the channel out. Also, if you want to see more of this in the future, I hope you'll subscribe. So thank you for watching this video. Until next time, guys. As I said, I can't talk today. Until next time, guys.